Hello, friends. Thank you for joining me today as I attempt to get to the bottom of a source of conflict between Africans and their African American cousins. Let me take you all on a quick trip down memory lane. As if you already know that during the slave trade era, some conquered tribes who had been defeated in intertribal wars were traded by their fellow Africans to some Europeans who had landed on the shores of Africa. The descendants of these kinsmen that were carried away in slavery are thriving today in various parts of the world. The Caribbean islands, Brazil, Haiti, and the United States of America, and some other island nations. Fast forward to towards the end of colonization era, where many African countries were under the rule of their colonial masters. Some Africans who had risen through their posts in government service traveled to Europe, India, and the United States of America for both military duties, civil service, and educational purposes. As time went on, the arriving Africans and their American cousins began to interact, and over time, some frictions began to erupt between both parties, as some of the American cousins were not particularly pleased with the fact that their forefathers were sold into slavery by their own kinsmen. However, it never boiled over into unmanageable levels. Over time, during communication, when Africans are trying to distinguish between themselves and African Americans during conversations, the term Akata was born. The term Akata started with the Yoruba people of Western Nigeria. From the onset, the Yorubas tend to define people for the sake of identification. For instance, when Nigerians travel on pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia, upon their return back to Nigeria, they are referred to as Alhaji or Alhaja. In Arabic language, Al means the, while Hajj means pilgrim. So Nigerians or the Yorubas began to refer to people who returned from Mecca from pilgrimage as Al-Haji or Al-Haja. Al-Haja being the female who returned from pilgrimage. So much so, the Yorubas also refer to people from northern Nigeria who are called Aboki. Aboki in northern Nigerian language, which is Hausa, actually means friend. They also use the term Mala or Malam. Malam in Hausa language, or arguably in Arabic language, to the best of my knowledge, is teacher. So over time, with usage, it began to be frowned upon as if it's a derogatory term. Also, there are other terms like Oyibo. Oyibo is what the white man is referred to. White male, white female, they are referred to as Oyibo. Um, there is also a term, Tokumbo. Tokumbo is referred to as is the name given to a child that was born to African parents or say Nigerian parents who lived abroad. So in itself, these names don't necessarily connote something negative, but more for distinction. However, over time, with usage and language barrier, it became to be known as something derogatory. So that is how the term Akata seems to be tied to something derogatory in modern day. The term Akata itself is actually a direct translation of the civet cat. In other words, there's an animal that is called a civet cat. I think that's actually where the whole Black Panther, some people, okay, I'm not going to say I know that, but I'm aware that some people try to link the whole Black Panther birth to be linked to the civet cat. It's one of the cat family. Of course, definitely not as big as the tiger or lion or something. So basically, that's what Akata means, a civet cat. However, during the passage of time, the term became used by Africans living in the US as if it's an insult, like as if you're trying to insult someone. And also, African Americans began to view it when they are referred to as Akata as if they are being insulted. And at this point, I would like to mention the great Muhammad Ali, who was born as Cassius Clay, decided to be known by his chosen name rather than his birth name, and took great offense if he was called by any other name than the one he wants to be known as. So the purpose of this video is to throw light on this long-standing issue and hope that Africans going forward will be able to accord to our cousins the same amount of respect we too would like to receive. Thank you very much for your time. Please like and subscribe.